All right, and hello and welcome to the Let's Talk Fabulous show, where today's topic might be slightly different, and yet I know it's going to be very similar, touching on lots of important subjects. We are talking today about sexy single summer, helping you prepare for summer, whether, and I'm going to say this now, this is a family-friendly show, but whether you are coupled or not, today's topic is relevant to everybody because you matter. Let's talk. All right. Hello and welcome, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So happy to be here.
Ooh, I love it. Love it. We've got such good energy already. I love it. Thank you to all of our panelists today for joining us. And thank you and hello to our audience. Please, please, please comment throughout today's show. Let us know what comes up for you as we talk about this subject. We're preparing for summer. We're not going to let it slip by. We're going to enjoy this summer. And we're talking about, what are some ways to do that? Our guests today have lots of wisdom and tips, and we're going to have fun, if nothing else. So before we get into the conversation, I want to just quickly go around and have everyone, say who you are, a little bit about what you do, and where you're located in the world. And I'll start with the person right next to me, Diana.
Hello, everybody. My name is Diana Dorell, and I am an intuitive relationship coach and spiritual mentor. And I am joining everyone from Gilbert, Arizona today.
Yay. Thank you, Diana. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And Marcy.
I'm Marcy Neumann, known as the Heart Shift Coach, and I work with women to help them to cultivate the courage that it takes to create a self-love lifestyle. And I'm here in Gainesville, Florida, and absolutely thrilled to say we are having beautiful weather.
Oh, that's awesome. Good. All right. And Kaelen.
Hello, lovelies. I am Kaelen Marie. I am a pleasure coach, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. And I am based out of Littleton, Colorado today.
I love it. I love it. And last but so not least, Yovanna.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yovanna Madhere. I am a licensed therapist and personal development coach, and I help women go from strong women to soft life, because don't we all want to lead a softer life? And I am based here in Atlanta, Georgia.
I love it. So you all are based all throughout the country. I'm in Southern California for those on the West Coast. And this is excellent. So let's get into, I like to just define some things, right? Because it can be so easy to just assume we're talking about like one thing. And I think it's helpful to say, what are we really talking about? So when you hear the word, I'm sexy, let's go with that first word, right? What comes to mind? What is sexy to you? What are just like some keywords that pop out for you?
Flirting.
Confident.
Embodied.
I literally had a man tell me, he says, "You are so sexy because you show up confident."
Yes. Yes. Okay. Where's, I gotta be on it. Here we go.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Right? Yeah. that was fun. Yeah. So we've got 2 for confidence and all of your words. Absolutely. For me, what I noticed today, freedom. Freedom is really showing up as like, right? When I feel free, like I can just be me. I can let it flow. And yeah, I love that. So, okay, so let's dive a little deeper then. I'm going to even just start with when I approached each of you with, hey, I think you'd be a fit for this show. What came to mind for you? What were you just like, I so want to talk about this. I just, yes, let me be part of this.
Yeah, I was definitely like, let's do it. Like, let's get on board, especially in the work that I do. It's so, it's just such a beautiful thing when we see women, especially women of a particular age, as we mature, that we feel like, yes, it is okay to be sexy, no matter how it is that we're showing up, right? By ourselves, partner, family, kids, whatever have you. And so everyone's always getting ready for summer. Summer bodies are made in the winter, but summer minds are made right now. Let's make those summer minds right now.
Okay, y'all are going to be dropping these nuggets left and right, and I can't do videos every 2 seconds. So that was a mic drop right there. Okay.
Yeah, for me, the concept of summer being equated with single and sexy was really interesting, because I think you're right. First off, Kim, summer has this connotation of being free. And, what happens in the summertime? It's free and easy. We set aside some of our schedules. We try to make as much me time as possible, as much free time. And so for me, when I thought about this title, it just really stirred this youthful, invigorated, actually delighted feeling. The energy was like yes, I want to talk about that.
I love that. I can't count how many summers where June happens, and we here in Southern California, we tend to have June gloom. So there's some clouds, and so it feels like that first month of summer always sort of gets eaten up by that. And then July hits, and then before you know it, it's like the fall shows up, and it's like, wait, I just lost a whole season because I don't know, I wasn't fully prepared. So I love what you said, Marcy. I'm in the same lane as far as that goes.
So I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. So where you're at in Gilbert, yes. I know the sun-kissed glow, right? And I would get so excited for summer because I was even more tan. Of course, I'm not right now, but one day I will be again. But I would get so excited because I had so many things planned in regards to vacations and dancing and picnics and like all of these outings. And I knew I wanted to look and feel my best. And I feel like when we talk about that sexy single summer, it's us wanting to show up in our radiance, in our greatest look, but not just on the physical, on the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual side as well, because we're a package deal, right? And so coming into this is like, so I just went back to my summer days, my as a kid, and going, those were magical. And sexy summer, single, couple doesn't matter. Summer is so magical.
I totally agree. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kim.
No. You go, Diana. Go.
So I love words. And there's something about the alliteration of the S's that did it for me. I was like, I don't even know. I didn't even read all the rest of the email invitation. I'm like, yes, Kim, cool. Yes, done. And summer's a vibe. It's a thing. It's a real vibe. And for me, it's about the lightness, like the heaviness. If there's anything that was confusing in the first half of the year, it's like everybody gets a do-over. I mean, we get do-overs every second if we want, right? But there's something about summer that's like permission to be free, permission to be light, permission to try things you never would have tried and not be so attached to what happens. It's that carefree, anything can happen. And you guys know I love crystals. I was drawn to the Herkimer diamond, which always reminds me of multiple facets, multiple possibilities. Like wherever you're limiting yourself, stop, because there's doors that you can't even see that are opening right now. And summer's a great portal for that. So.
I love it. As you ladies were talking, I was getting chills in my legs. And when I get chills in my legs, that's always my confirmation that we are right on track. We are right in alignment with the vibe. And so I want to just ask our audience right now, what are you feeling right now? Like I'm so big on when I talk to my clients, like, what are you feeling? Because we're talking about getting into that mode and that feeling space. And we live in a society that is so inclined to constantly say, oh, well, I think this when they're asked how they feel. And I just want to encourage you to tap into what are you feeling in your body right now. The embodiment is so key. And let's continue this conversation. I'm going to begin with hearing a little bit more from Diana to kick us off, and we'll go from there.
Hey, it's Diana Dorell here with Sexy Single Summer. And one tip I'll share right off the bat is when you come at summer from a place of abundance mindset versus urgency, you are going to attract high quality dates. You're going to feel better in your body, and you are going to attract people who just vibe with you. Summer energy is about fun. It's about just sharing, right? Sharing energy with people and connection. And when you come from that space of fun and attachment and curiosity versus needing to have somebody fill all of the checklists that you have about your potential partner, it can be way more fun, and you'll find your goddess energy coming out.
Oh, I love that, Diana. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can
That's good
put you
stuff.
in the hot seat. 1 second here. Let's put Diana in the hot seat. Diana!
Hello, everybody.
Please elaborate and expand on abundance mindset and everything you just shared.
Yeah, so abundance mindset is really about believing that you are supported all the time, right? So it's not about everything being perfect. And when we tie it into this concept of sexy single summer, it's again, like anything can happen. And what do I really desire? Not what do I think I can get, or like what did I have before based on like whatever happened, but what do I really want? And giving yourself permission to want it, to desire it, and to believe that it's possible. Whether you're, like she said, paired up or not paired up, like own your desires. And from that place, the universe will support you, you know, through invitations that you get this summer, through opportunities, through your body. Our bodies are like this massive temple of signals and intuition and love and radiance. Somebody said radiant. That just like gave me chills. So where are you putting a cap on your joy? Where
Okay.
are you stopping yourself? And can we stop you?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Diana. That
I
was so
love
good.
your little things. I'm like, oh, what's going to happen next?
I didn't mean to cut you off, though.
No, that's beautiful. So I think it is a great opportunity. Like, as you're listening to each of us, there's going to be nuggets that hit home, right? That make you just have a full body chill, and you may not know why. So write it down. I think that's a great reminder.
Yeah. Who else wants to chime in here? Oh, I love the silence. I love it.
There's just so many things to say about
I
that.
know. We're writing it down.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know, you know, so many people, when those nuggets come through, they start to write them down. And I find for myself that I start to feel them. I check out in my body, like where I'm feeling that in the moment, and what comes up, like what is the energy saying to me. So even as Deanna, you were starting and, you know, just talking about what we experience when we, you know, come into those energies of summer and sexy and single and all of that, I immediately just started to feel that experience and like really what it's like to be filled with that ability to anticipate the delight. Like you said, what's going to be next?
Yes. And you know, one thing that like comes up too is sometimes to get to that place of abundance and joy, we have to look at our environment. So we were chatting before the show about how I tend to like declutter too much. Like some people do go the other way. Like I sometimes give away too much. And looking at where in your physical environment, like are things not a match for you anymore? Looking at your closet and like, where are you still holding on to things based on an identity from before, or based on like obligation or guilt, and like knowing that you are in control of your vibes. So if you want to step into, you know, sexy single summer vibes, it's like, who do I decide to be today? And where can I curate that environment externally to help me tap into that vibe internally? And that's where your magnetism is. And when you're paired up, this is where, you know, the fun, like adventure vibes come out, where maybe before you were like becoming roommates, right? Or if you're single and you're dating again, this is when you can like be brave and put on that beautiful outfit that you've been like keeping in the back closet because the body wasn't right. It's like, who cares? The time is right now, and you're going to attract people based on that. So you create your point of attraction. So it might as well be sexy single summer vibes.
Ooh,
Mm.
so good.
Love that.
Might as
that.
well be that all year round.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Like that
Right.
is now and here. It's not
Right.
just because it's summer, but if you need an excuse, because our logical brains sometimes need like permission, like we're all here giving you permission to throw away that ugly stuff in the closet that you only kept, right? Because your mother-in-law or your friend gave it to you. Like that is actually going to create space for more magic to come into your life. And who doesn't want more magic?
That's right.
And I love that
Absolutely.
you say that, Deanna, because, you know, working with women and trying to take them from strong woman to soft life, like it's really all, like you were saying, identity and making a decision and just being like, who do I want to become? Like, I absolutely encourage women, like, be playful with yourself, you know, and say, who is it that I want to be today? You know, like, you know, what identity do I want to lean into, and what direction do I want to take my softness into? And that's going to look differently for everyone. But summer is certainly that opportunity because, you know, certain people have off during the summer. They don't have to work during the summer, or they're able to ship their kids off to their grandparents or whatever have you. And it's like, I'm going to take on this identity for the summer, if nothing else. Like let's just say it's for the summer. And I'm going to put the stick of strength down, and I'm going to just allow myself to put on a sundress and let the wind flow and just allow myself to be in that softness, you know, let the sun kiss my skin, go have some cocktails with a girlfriend during brunch or whatever it is that, you know, that feels good to you, and begin to let that go, like begin to drop all that strength that, you know, we kind of feel that we have to carry, which is really just in our minds, right? We've just kind of created this strength that we don't necessarily need, and allow ourselves just to kind of go with the softness of the summer, and then take that to the fall and to the winter and just begin that wave of softness in our lives.
Okay, it's getting one of these.
You know, I'm going to piggyback off of this, Yovanna, because, you know, we're talking about the summertime. And I think the thing that's so beautiful is when you think about the seasons, like we go through winter for a reason. We go through spring for a reason. Spring right now that we're in this space of planting, putting the seeds in the ground. But summer is where we're watching it grow to its fullest. Right? And this is where we're in those seasons and those cycles, especially as women. We are very much in the flow of the seasons. We move with the tides, literally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when we're in that summer space, we're like coming into this full bloom, this full blossom. We're in our fullness, and it allows us to stand up and out and radiate. And I mean, how many of us love it when our flowers come into full bloom and we're like, yes, and we can't help but love looking at that. And and here's the thing, right? We as women don't have to wait for a season to define our summer. Right? We can be in our summer, in our full bloom all the time. We may be literally in our winter, our spring, our summer, and our fall all at the same moment, because hello, it's who we are, right? So yeah, but we get to be anything that we want. But when we choose consciously to shine in our radiance, to be in that full bloom, man, we cannot help but have that attraction come to us. And that is one of the most sexiest things we can be as a human, period.
I'm hearing a lot of really embracing femininity and finding that balance with our inner masculine and feminine, because we all have both, even men. And really, you know, I love words that are popping for me today: permission, identity, right? And the whole being in the flow of ourselves, being in tune with ourselves, right? So that we can be in the flow and not think, well, this is one aspect of me, I can't flow with these other things that show up. How beautiful. Yeah. What else is coming up for you, ladies? This is great.
So for me, I think it's, really being here now. You know, so often when we think, and I know I've had this discussion with some, where we think when we're talking sexy, single, summer, those things. We think about ourselves in the past. We think about ourselves as a teenager, for instance, when in fact, we are capable of embodying all of those energies right here and right now. And in fact, I think that that is what gives us the ability to show up and show up feeling free, show up being authentic, show up really embodying and embracing ourselves as these goddesses that we are. And it has nothing to do with a comparison of how we looked or who we were. What we did playing volleyball, it maybe has turned into doing scuba diving, whatever it is. In other words, accepting ourselves as we are right here, right now, is where and how we are empowered. And this is probably, I think, the greatest gift that we can give ourselves. And of course, that we deserve. We deserve to truly be the goddesses that we came here to be. And it doesn't happen from allowing any memory of who we used to be to infiltrate that. It's all about really, truly embracing who we are. Yeah.
You guys are on it. I love it. We're going to continue the conversation, and I want to actually play a video from Yovanna now, and we'll go from there.
Hey, it's Coach Yovanna here. Happy day. Hope you guys are doing amazing today. I just want to talk to you about having this sexy and single summer. Yes. Good for you. My job is to discuss what that feels like. What emotional space are we going in having this sexy and single summer? I mean, look, it can go from anywhere from being absolutely amazing to maybe not that great. So we can have some amazing insights, have some amazing conversations on what does a sexy single summer feel like. I'm here for all the alliteration, and I'm here to help with Coach Yovanna Rocks. Let's talk. Let's get into it.
I love it, Yovanna. I love that you're bringing it back to the feelings, and I want to invite you to elaborate, please.
Yeah, so, as much as we, if we're honest, are like, yeah, summertime, that may come with some stuff, right? That may come with some, I'm not ready, I didn't lose those 10 pounds I said I was going to lose. What about the kid? It comes with all this mental stuff that we put ourselves in that kind of starts to shrink the box. And like Diana was saying, and then the next thing you know, the summer's over. Or I think Kaelen was like, and then the next thing you know, the summer's over. So I challenge us to prepare and to plan and to be intentional about the time and say, you know what? I want to enjoy the summer. So what does enjoying the summer look like to me? What do I need to do? What do I need to put in place? What do I need to release or embrace in order to enjoy the summer? Maybe you know that the whole summer, you just can't while out all summer. You're like, I only got about 6 weeks, or I only got about 4 weeks. Right. Okay, well, now that you know that you've got those 4 weeks, let's be very intentional about those 4 weeks, and let's start to create a plan, right? So some people really suffer with anxiety, and the best way to combat anxiety is by planning. Now, we don't want to over plan, but we certainly want to say, what do I want this to look like? Okay, I want to be able to do this one thing this summer. Okay, well, we're going to do one thing. If that's all that we can manage, that's what we're going to do. And then start to put those plans in place. And if that means, talking to someone, rallying the troops, finding out who your supports are, that's really the most important thing, because summer can be kind of complicated for people for various reasons. Some people carry, not so favorable emotions around summer. And so if we can put plans in place, start to prepare, be intentional, and allow ourselves and say, you know what, I'm not going to beat myself up this summer. I'm just really going to lean into as much as I can and lean into. Then that way you can have the summer that you have chosen to have. And that's going to feel the best for you.
I got to piggyback on that. That is just so juicy. I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. As a pleasure coach, one of the very first things that I do with my clients when I sit down with them, goals, the word goal, just say the word goal into your mind and feel where the energy sits for you. For me, it is like it's in my gut and it's heavy and it's yucky. And I don't like them because then when I think about, like, for example, I want to lose 10 pounds by X date. It just feels drudgery. So I do this mind shift of going into desire and trading off the word goal for desire, and then phrasing it as, instead of having that be the goal, say, I just desire to fall in love with my body.
That's
To
good
see
stuff.
how she moves, to see how she flows, and to just love every part of me. Because when I love every part of me, she's going to release that feeling, those feelings that are not serving me. And she's going to do it naturally and authentically, because then all of a sudden we're like, I just really want a salad instead of that candy bar. Right? It's like, I want these, I'm desiring these things. And it's so empowering to go, I get to choose myself, what my desire. So if I'm desiring for a really fun summer, what does a sexy single summer desire look like, feel like? Get visceral with it. That's my invitation to the viewers. Really have fun with it and play in
It's
those
such good stuff.
desires. Yeah.
I don't know why, you guys, but the phrase hot girl summer also comes up. I think I was listening to a podcast and she's like from the UK, and I was just listening to her beautiful accent. And I'm like, this is all I remember from the podcast. But it's the same thing, right? Like, really tapping into our body. Our body knows the answers. Like, stop saying you don't know, because you do.
Ooh.
We just, like, I think, overanalyze things a little bit too much. And one of the tools that I work with my clients is, we've all heard about affirmations, right? Like, take a negative thought, turn it into a positive thought. I'm just going to offer kind of a alternative guidance there, because sometimes our brains don't believe that positive thought, and it can feel like a lie. And so instead of, like, using our brain power to turn it into a positive thing, like, some of the most powerful guidance I got was, can you get to neutral with it?
Yeah.
Can you get to this place internally where, again, anything is possible. You're not negating any negative feelings you have about your body or your love life or whatever it is, but you're just like that wave, and you're like, I'm available. I'm available for all of it. And when you're available for all of it, then you may find that you go into that other crescent much easier, which is what I call the goddess way. It's like, you're not fighting what you're feeling, but you're embracing it and letting it go through you, but it's not you. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Open and receptive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely speaking to the whole vibrational scale, emotional guidance scale, right? We don't get from there to there like that. We incrementally move up the scale. And so neutral is on the pathway to getting to that space of enhanced desire and excitement and all of that abundance and love. If we're coming from a space of fear or grief, anything that's heavy on that scale, it's gonna be too big of a leap to jump from there to there. You can get there, but it's going to be through going through that neutral point where we neutralize what was heavy first. So I know it's starting to get into a little bit of a different conversation here, but it matters. And so that's why it's so key to be in tune with what's going on within us, within our body, so that we can be open and receive the joys of summer. And I love that, Yovanna, you brought it to, you mentioned being intentional. I just heard someone the other day say, the average person only has about 80 summers in their entire life. And I was like, oh, wow, what a different way to look at it. Like, I mean, it's a big number. And at the same time, like, they're going by, right? Yeah.
And you know what, Diana, when you said neutral, I literally felt an expansion. Like, my lungs expanded, my breath deepened, because when we're in that neutral space is the place of infinite possibility.
Exactly.
Everything is found in that neutral space. And when we get there and we sit there, and we love in that space on us, we're like, oh, anything's possible. Then what happens? Ding, 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 ding. We get all of these little drops that come in.
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh, the golden nuggets are falling down, right?
So true. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that is sexy, right?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
that is sexy, where you're just like, wow, like all this stuff is coming and I didn't have to work hard for it. Like that, what a concept.
I'm looking for more videos to play. Here, we're gonna do this one again.
And that's awesome.
I think you have one of those videos.
Okay, let's hear a little bit more from Kaelen, because what you have to share is right in alignment with, you know, the feeling space of really getting into owning this energy and this essence. So here we go.
Hi, I am Kaelen Marie, and I get to be on the Sexy Summer Fabulous show today. So let's just talk about being sexy for the summer. If a person, whether it's a man or a woman, is not in their pleasure, which is their divine right, of being in their radiance and their turn on and their mastery, they're not going to be sexy. It'll be a forced thing, and then it's not authentic. Place of just being authentically who we are, living life to the fullest, being in our truth, and that sexy magnetism is just drawn to us. So, my invitation for you this summer, drop all the shit and just be authentically you.
Love that.
I love it. Kaelen, what would you like to add to that? Go ahead. I'll hold my comments.
You know, it just comes down to, if you're not being you, who are you being?
Ooh.
What did Oscar Wilde say? Be yourself, because everybody else is taken. And I realized, and it took me a hot minute to get there. And when I realized, oh my gosh, I love being the wild freak that I am. I love being this wild and crazy and completely, because it's just me. And if I can't just be me, who am I going to be? I did that for a long time. I wore the mask. I wore multiple layers of masks. And I was dying inside because I didn't know who I was. And when I gave myself permission to start pulling off, and it was scary. Wow, is it scary? But when I gave myself permission to let it go, I stood back and I looked at myself and I was like, oh, you're amazing. I love you. And it just put a whole new lease on life. I literally, ladies, I don't look it, I don't act it, and Lord knows I don't feel it. I'm 60 years old. And there is just like, I am in the prime of my life. I am in my perpetual sexy single summer right now. And I'm having a blast. So it's just like, how can we be so authentic? Remove the masks. It's not who you are. And when you stand in your truth, you cannot be held back from that wonderful abundance that Diana was talking about, and the magnetism that has to just pour in to your mind, your body, your soul, every single area of your life.
Okay.
I love that, Kaelen. I love that. And if I can piggyback, we're piggybacking on each other a lot today.
I know, I love this.
I love it. I can identify so much with that. I can identify so much with, you know, when you finally find who it is that you are, and you're like, oh, that finally, there she is. But also understanding that, like, just because of the cycles of women, right? Like our actual literal physical cycles, like I may be this way one week and then another week I'm going to be another way. And I have to embrace all of her. She's going to show up in all of her fullness in every way. There's sometimes where I'm a little bit more serious because I can be a little bit serious sometimes. And there's other times I'm a complete goofball. But the appreciation of saying, I am all of her. And she is, like you were saying, and she's amazing. And I love her. And I love that I can access all of her. I can access the goofy. I can access the serious. I can access her entirety. that goddess energy, right? Like accessing just all of the goddesses. That's a different conversation. But yes, it's such a beautiful and freeing experience.
And liberating.
Yeah. One of the things that I'd like to actually bring up is that so often I find women, particularly, who don't even recognize that they're wearing the masks. They are so ingrained in the conditioning and the programming that they have from childhood. They just have this belief that that's just the way it is. That's what's expected of them. And they just go into every situation trying to appease those who've put those expectations on them. And so for those in our audience who are familiar with the chakra system, this is such an important solar plexus work. It is where we're really willing to shine the light in all of those little nooks and crannies that hold the energy that has become so dense because we were so afraid to let it out and to let it come into the light. And the issue is that as long as we hold on to that, we will get confirmation that it's true. And it really isn't at all. But the energy is only able to seek out other energy just like itself. So when we're talking about coming into this energy, and I'm really, again, just hearing that and feeling that sense of freedom that's being called for with this theme, is that this is a call for us to dive into that chakra and to really go in deep with the anticipation of the delight of what you will find. Those parts often that are so stuck in there have been stuck in there for so long that you can't even relate to them anymore. And yet they've had such a powerful impact on keeping you separate from who you really are. So yeah, this freedom that we're talking about is something that only you can create. It doesn't come from outside of you. It can only come from your willingness to go inside and let that wild woman out.
Woo! Okay, we're I know that was brilliant.
That was powerful, Marcy.
Yeah, that was great, Marcy.
Who wants to add to that? Because I know we're delving into the self-love, and I'm going to share a video from Marcy in a moment. But anybody want to add to what Marcy was just saying right now first?
I want to add to what Marcy was saying, permission. And I think, Kim, you had used the word permission earlier, right? We overall are conditioned to believe that, like, we need permission from someone to be something. We need permission from someone to become ourselves. And when we go deeper into ourselves, we do our chakra work, when we do our inner goddess work, when we do our breathing work, when we start to release, we realize I don't need permission from anyone. I am not asking anyone's permission. I do not need your acceptance. I do not need your permission. This is the journey that I am on, and you are welcome to join me. You're welcome to witness the blooming and the blossoming of what is happening. You're welcome to be a voyeur to my experience, but I don't need to ask you whether it's okay. And that's anyone. I don't need to ask my mother, my parents, no one. I just need to allow myself. We just need to allow ourselves and be willing. I think the willingness is also really important here. The willingness to say, I'm going to access something in myself. The willingness to let something go, embrace something, or just like Diana was saying, or just be neutral. I am willing to just be neutral and not have to be anything, and just be in the stillness of myself, the stillness of the moment. And I have a lot of compassion, also understanding that, like, and that's another word I wanted to add here is compassion. I think that we have to be compassionate with ourselves on this journey, because it could feel like it could feel like we are telling you to do a bunch of stuff that maybe you're uncomfortable with, right? Because we are not at neutral yet. but just saying I have enough compassion to myself to know that if I can love my friend in a way, and I would say, girl, go ahead and do that, girl. You don't need anybody's permission. You know what I'm saying? If you can say that to your friend, then you can also say it to yourself. One step at a time, one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead. Diana, were you going to chime in there?
I was, and I feel like what's coming up there is the one step at a time. I think so often we want to see the whole show, right? We want to see the whole staircase, and we're only given one step. And even that one step may feel a little bit shaky, but you know you're not going backwards. And so it's that willingness, it's that vulnerability, it's that ultimate trust in yourself, right? Trust in whatever you believe in, that all your feelings are valid, and right, you can create whatever experience you want. So just be brave and take that first step. And that first step may look as simple as, I'm willing to love myself even if I don't know how.
Yes.
Right?
Okay. So I love where this conversation is going, and you may have seen some purple hearts on the screen, and that is a little hello and message to our Purple Hearts Club, but goes right along with the message that you ladies have been saying about self-compassion and honoring your experience and where you are and loving yourself to wherever that next step is. So with that, we're just going to take a quick moment to say hello to our Purple Hearts Club, and a moment for you to take a deep breath into yourself and give yourself some love. All right. And Marcy, I want to get to your video because that's going to kind of bring us back, maybe like a full circle moment to some of what we started today's conversation with. So let's hear a little more from Marcy, and then we'll continue the discussion.
Hey everybody, I am so excited. We're talking about sexy single summer. And what comes to my mind is this really funny story that I often share and I want to share with you. But here's a little taste of what's to come. I had just been newly divorced, so I was single for the first time in almost 30 years. And I was so privileged to have this incredible group of friends. And we, of course, would congregate and go to dinner every single weekend. And our favorite spots required often that we would have to park at one end of town and walk to the restaurants that were sort of in this little enclave. In order to get there, we would have to walk by a cigar shop. It would be very interesting because it seemed like every single time I walked by, what would happen is these guys would be sitting there smoking these cigars, but they would have their eyes closed. And what happened was eventually we all became friends. And one day I just got up the nerve to ask them what that was all about. Why did it seem like every time I was walking past them on the rocking chairs, they would have their eyes closed? I'm going to share that with you because I think it's the most important thing that we can talk about when it comes to being sexy and single in the summer, and it's regardless of your age or anything else.
Intrigued.
I know. Like,
I love that, Marcy. Tell us the rest of the story. I know.
Oh my God. It was so funny. So what these guys would do is they'd be sitting in these rocking chairs, smoking their cigars. And when women would walk by, they would actually give them a rating 1 to 10, okay, by how they walked by. Eyes closed, you know, and of course, once a woman passed, they'd be in full discussion. And so when I got to know these guys, and I asked this one fellow, what is this all about? And do I dare ask, how was I graded? And he laughed and he said, Marcy, you were always a 10. I said, really? Why? And he said, because the moment we heard those heels hit the sidewalk, you walked with such confidence, we could almost feel your hips swishing. And he said, there were times that you would walk by and we would start to laugh because we knew you were looking right at us.
You intimidated them with all your powerful femininity.
You know, I don't even remember having this need to intimidate them. It was, I knew what they were doing on this level, and I was playing with them in the same way they were playing with me.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they were right. I would walk by, and you know how some women might get very soldier-like and walk really fast. Not me. I would be walking in front of them, my hips swaying, my hips like getting, you know, use out of every centimeter of my you know, hip bones coming together, and just like I could feel that this energy between us was really calling for it. It was like I was showing up as I am, who I am in all of my entirety. And that was what not only did I want to convey in my walk, I had claimed it.
Yeah.
And there is nothing sexier than a woman who has claimed herself.
Mm-hmm.
Did not matter how old I was, didn't matter how I looked. Those guys, they gave me a 10 every week.
Okay, here we go. Here's one of these.
Yep.
Yes.
That's fun, Marcy. I love that. Thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah, it was
So-
wonderful.
Marcy, I just have to say yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah.
I do salsa and bachata dancing.
Aha.
Love
when I
salsa.
Me
show
too.
up- right? Of course
We
you
should
do.
all go
Got it?
salsa dancing.
Yes.
But
That's
this
all
is-
it is.
Event.
yeah, it is, right? And here's
Yeah.
what I discovered. When I show up and I'm in my head trying to remember the steps, my partner, my lead, he's in his head. When I
Sure.
drop down and I come in and I'm like, I got this. And I smile at him and I look at him and I'm confident and I'm just like looking him in the eyes. And then I'm able to get more into the moves. Oh my gosh, he lights up.
Activating that sacral chakra.
That's right.
Yes, right? And I'm looking at how that plays right into your story when we show up knowing that we are confident. We in our divine feminine are literally allowing the men to be in their divine masculine and
Right.
show up in such a way that they can't be held back. And there's that attraction that comes in. It is so beautiful, empowering, enlivening, and freeing, right?
One of the guys
Oh.
used to say he used to break out into a sweat whenever I would come by.
And you're like,
Because I would
Welcome.
just take my time. Yeah.
because we
Make
don't
them
need
make
to
them hurt. Make them hurt.
right? We as women feel like we have to be in a rush. We don't want them to look. We don't want them to
Right.
talk. But man, when we
Right.
slow it down and we be in our truth and we take our time and we be in that joy, the whole world slows down.
Yep.
The whole
And don't
world
smell
just-
good too. In
Yeah.
the process.
And you know, I have to mention something that just came up as you were speaking. And that is we must slow down because we are the receivers. We're the great receivers of the universe. So we receive those men. And so if we're intent, you know, eyes forward, hips like this, and pretending that we're not women or in this protective mode, we can't receive them. And so they cannot come into their divine masculine. There's a wall that's separating us. And so, yeah, we have to remember that we've got to embody who we are, that divine feminine, that goddess, so that they can embody who they are and who we want and need them to be.
Yes.
That part.
It goes right into Yovanna's softness.
Yeah.
Let's just
And
be
permission.
the true who that softness, the permission and the softness.
I want to highlight one of our audience comments. We have Gloria saying today, sexiness is a state of mind. And that's what I hear all of you speaking to, is that state of mind that remembers that we are feminine, that gives us permission, gives ourselves permission to be softer. I love that you use that word, Yovanna, to be softer. And also being intentional of like, wait a second, I could choose to revert back into the fear and push things away,
Right.
or I could choose to step into the light and say, I'm going to own this part of me that's in the flow. And what a beautiful thing. I love, Kaelen and Marcy, what you were talking about. Like we empower the men just as much as they can empower us. There's connection there. And this just goes for all people, right? We're not necessarily even, it doesn't have to be relationships. We're talking about all people. This is when we lean in, it gives the other person permission to also lean in.
Sure. It creates equity. I've always said that the balance of the divine masculine and feminine creates equity. And that equity and that harmony is really beautiful when those energies, even within ourselves, when we can be in balance, right? And like you were saying, Marcy, when you slow down, right? If safety is a concern, let's just say like, oh, I got to pass them because I don't feel safe. But if you slow down, right? The lioness, she can see everything that's happening because she's slow.
Right.
She's intentional. Nobody wants to go against the lioness, but she's watching everything. And she's creating that safety while also being like, he doesn't need to know that you're slow because you're peeping game, but I'm slow. I'm paying attention. I know how to move, right? And I'm fully in my body. I drop down into my pelvis. I'm fully in my body.
I love this. I love that we've got some of the archetypes here. And Diana, I'm going to go to you in just a moment with the goddess, but the lioness and the goddess, these can be so helpful and empowering for us to tap into and remember, because many women, you know, not every woman grows up with another woman as a role model that was an empowered woman. And so you may not know how to tap into that. And you have to learn it on your own. And that's where the archetypes can really come in to support us and go, wait a second. Yeah, that's right. I can embody some of that. And Diana, I would just love, I know we're nearing the end of the show, but will you just take a few seconds to just sort of, and what was the word I'm looking for? Just to talk about goddess and what that means and why you use that term.
Yes. So to me, goddess is a radiant energy. It's a receiving energy. It's a being versus a doing state. And it's about illuminating the magic that's already within you. And so when we can give ourselves, again, permission to honor the light and the love that we have for ourselves, but also to share with the world. It's that safe space, right, to create, and everything comes from it. So if you can slow down, right, get into your body, release judgment, release shoulds and doing so much from the head, and drop in and know that you are enough just as you are, that goddess within is going to come out. There's nothing you need to do to access her except to allow her in.
So beautiful. Thank you for that, Diana. And so let's just quickly go around and like maybe 15, 20 seconds. I'd like for each of you to just share your final thoughts. And I'll start with you, Diana, since you just...
So I would just invite everybody to put your hand over your heart and close your eyes and take a deep breath. And exhale. And just know that you are so loved and that you matter and you are enough. So it is.
Thank you, Diana. Love that. Yovanna, I'm going to go down to you. What are your final thoughts?
I mean, that hit the nail right on the head. Understand we are worthy. We don't have to do anything to be worthy of ourselves, to be worthy of what we're capable of and be worthy of what we want. Just being, that's the worth in and of itself.
Absolutely. And I'm going to hop over to you, Kaelen. Kaelen, what are your final thoughts?
Remove the masks. There's going to be many. We don't just have one. And be soft and tender and loving and kind and gentle with yourself as you do so. and be in that state of going, I am worth it to remove the masks and be in the truth of who I am.
Really delving into that freedom is what I'm hearing. Yeah, I love it. Marcy, what are your final thoughts?
Continue with the self-care as it opens the door to true self-love. Self-love is actually on the opposite end of the scale. It's always going to take you out of your comfort zone. But I promise you, as you accept those challenges and you cultivate that courage that it takes to meet them, you will be free in a way you have never, ever experienced before. And those wings are waiting right now to be unfurled and for you to live your life free to be who you really are and came here to be.
Oh, thank you to all of today's panelists. You guys were phenomenal. I loved this conversation. And thank you to everyone out there, whether you watch this live or on the replay. Thank you for being with us. Let us know in the comments, wherever you watched, what you're taking away. We'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you next week. Have a fabulous week.